Welcome to the Church of Thomas. Planned obsolescence, 5/15/09. One of the things that's important to understand is that throughout the Old Testament and the New Testament, stewardship was emphasized. We were told that the things that are on earth and in our universe are there for our use, but that they should be respected, conserved, and used wisely. Stewardship is an active situation. It's not sitting back and watching things happen and hoping it all turns out for the best, or using everything that we have and hoping more will get made before we run out, like oil, gas, coal, etc. But there's a different kind of obsolescence that it's designed in. The engineers put it in. Some examples to that are the computers, TVs, phones, other electronic devices, and some mechanical devices. I remember my dad used to tell me that cars were designed not to last more than 10 years so that you'd have to go out and buy another one. That is one of the reasons behind planned obsolescence, is to keep the market flowing and you buying brand new things. The idea of craftsmanship is totally opposite of this, that you make something that will last as long as the product lasts, instead of designing it to fail before its normal lifespan. A craftsman writes their name on things and says, I did this. And if it fails before people think they've gotten their use out of it, they know who to go and talk to. Planned obsolescence is generally anonymous, 4 or 5 times removed from the consumer. There's the research and development people, they come up with ideas, and then they got the engineers who make these ideas into concrete things, and then there are the production lines that pump them out, and then the marketing people, and then the sales people. So by the time we get a product, it is so far removed from the person who designed it that they have little or no responsibility for designing something that is so flawed. You're going to have to buy another one in a year, 2 years, 3 years. Now, it is important to understand that this is wrong. We're not supposed to be making things so that they basically self-destruct in a period of time. The waste that is created from our computers and our televisions, our cell phones, all sorts of things, aren't recyclable unless they go through a lot of toxic intermediate stages. Computers have cadmium and a lot of other toxic metals, lead. There's mercury in some of the new TVs. It's a horrible situation, and if we're throwing these things away, we're not just throwing away a piece of plastic, which is bad enough, but we're throwing away stuff that without special treatment will become poisonous to us. We wind up shipping it overseas where people don't value life the way that we do, which is sad. But it is a hidden repercussion cost. If we don't see what the results of our wastefulness and our planned obsolescence is, we have no responsibility to change it. But there are some possible stopgap solutions. One of them is that even though a computer is not the fastest in the world, if it still functions, or if that monitor still functions, you can donate it. There are many schools that still do not have budgets for computer labs. They would be more than happy to get something that they could refurbish and turn over to a bunch of students who will then learn how to use computers. It'll benefit you, it'll benefit the environment, it'll benefit the students. Phones. Phones are an excellent example of what you can do to recycle. You don't have to bring them to a recycle center, but you can donate them to the women's facilities. The women's shelters that take in women that are in abusive relationships often have a need for emergency contact with the outside world. Even if your phone's contract has run out, even if this phone has horrible coverage on all sorts of levels because it's, obsolete now, it can still dial 911. And they are all programmed to be able to dial 911 even when there is no contract. Donate these to some local shelter or place that needs this sort of resource. Eyeglasses. That's a wonderful one. I just recently went through something like that. My prescription got worse, so I had to go and get some new glasses. Well, I donated my old glasses to a project that basically finds out what the prescription is and finds a new person that can use those lenses. And it's for free. Those lenses don't get thrown away. They're the least toxic of all the things I've talked about. But this is just a good example of when something becomes not useful to you, doesn't mean it won't be useful to somebody else. God bless the whole world, no exceptions. Angel Eliza.